let's find out what we have here.
Okay.
All of you chop genital, no chop genital. That's your business. Focus on your focus.
So we used to do exports.
Okay, sex for grades. How do you survive sexual advances from your lecturers or co-workers? And what are the pressures? What pressures people into engaging or giving in? Who goes first? There's not anything to do with private party.
I think it's more.
I feel like
female.
this is a question for the population. I feel like I can't speak for men because I feel like men in Nigeria, you people are just glorified for nothing. But no, it's true. In Nigeria, men.
No, she's right. In that context,
I'm just speaking for our own
Nigerian men.
No.
I didn't say it was a Nigerian. I didn't say it was a Nigerian man's fault. But in Nigeria, we glorify our men for nothing. That's my
I don't agree though.
I don't particularly agree with that, but I feel like with this sexual situation, it's more of the men that are going to be approaching the women.
That's what I mean.
No. I beg to differ because I know in school I'm just not going to call it.
Yeah?
No, drag them. Drag them like Tiger Jen. Drag them.
Drag them, yes, drag them.
To be honest, we need to drag them. Like, you know how difficult it is to start the old Tiger generators that those babas use. So we understand that these people they are a problem. Do you understand? So we drag them. That's on a lighter note, but to be honest, we actually need to be serious about these things. There are people that actually have these problems and their lives have been ruined because of somebody's sexual fantasy. So I think we actually really need to do better and we need to expose them because it is just unfair.
So, I know the school. No, the male teachers. Non-teaching staff and non-teaching staff. We're going for the guys.
Yeah. I heard in QC, was it? They
for
raped,
real though. QC
Yeah,
is a female
man.
school.
I heard it was not
ladies raped orange guy. He was selling oranges.
I heard it was Gitman.
Okay, so how would you?
But
How do you avoid this happening to you? I'm just saying Nigeria because this is where we live.
The thing is, to be honest, first off, I think that the issue is the system. The system has already. They encourage, they create such environment that condones such behavior.
I agree.
So there's a thing whereby a lecturer comes up to you. If you say no, he's failing you.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do. Who are you going to report to? You got to report to the next lecturer that is doing it to another babe. And then they will take you got to report to the principal that is... he knows the cold room. They have their own cold room.
Do you understand?
Do you get? So the environment is already like that. So there's nothing you can do. But if you want to... No, I don't mean do it. What's left for you to do is just to leave the school.
No, I think
how many schools do you want to go? That's the thing. How many schools? But what would you do? Are you going to now start lowering your standard just so you can go to another school?
Sorry,
like who?
Go to the church parish.
I agree with
the female teacher, I
you
guess.
in the sense that I feel like the system is messed up. There's too much power in the hands of the wrong people. Do you understand? Like, we need to restructure the entire educational system in Nigeria. And then, look, why do lecturers have so much power? There need to be checks and balances. Somebody needs to be, you can't, what you said is sad. How can you have your lecturer making advances to you and then you have nobody to report to because the next person is probably doing the same thing?
Yeah, the system makes that and the system is created by another system. So it's all a cloys to, fuck. But I guess that, in good time, within individual, understanding and proper upbringing, we'll get there.
I think our system definitely enables and creates the environment. I feel like from just everybody in our country, from the civil servants to the citizens, to the people in power, to our celebrities, all over, we don't hold people accountable. And so I feel like, I don't want to just say lecturers because I feel like this happens in all industries, but people in positions of power, because they know that if they get caught out, probably the worst thing that would happen is they would lose their jobs and be able to get a job elsewhere. I think there isn't much of a deterrent for them because the punishment isn't that high.
Do you understand? It's really sad.
Well, I think
the unfortunate thing about it is,
it's probably a local school.
I've had to deal with this before. In all honesty, it's sad. It's sad, but I have to go around it a really bad way because I had someone who knew some guys that were really strong and stuff, and this man wanted to do this.
Is that the erection or what?
not hard like that. What's wrong with you?
Like,
I'm saying like they were strong men, like hefty looking guys. So they're like really strong physically and stuff. So when I told the person about the whole situation, I obviously I had to go to meet the man where he told me to meet up with him. And obviously he was on the bed. And I did a picture, a video. And he didn't know.
Was it after or before service?
I mean, not everybody will have this opportunity because I had someone who was working like underground. So I had like a small camera that he helped me put in my face cap.
And that was very risky.
And that was what I used to get out of that situation.
Oh, you blackmailed him?
Yes.
Before after service?
You know, it's funny because I had a similar experience, but mine wasn't even with education, which is why...
She didn't sleep with him.
Oh, she said
the guys just
made a video
and
keep quiet, my friends.
I used to say exactly what you said. If I'm in that position, then I'm going to loud it. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to do this and do that. I was recently in a similar situation, not in a university, but another government organization. I won't say now because I'm still dealing with it. I'm going to tell me I can't go and finish what I want to finish. Anyway, when it's done, Storytime on my YouTube, check me out. Anyway, so basically the whole thing was I hadn't done something the right way. Nobody does this thing the right way. Everybody misses one thing or the other. And you get to the point where you meet the head guy in charge and he just tells you, okay, I'll give you an extension of a week or I'll do this or the other. And I walked into his office and this is a man who had helped friends of mine, foes of mine. He was just putting everybody through the system. And he sits me down and basically goes, well, I'm only going to help you if you become my girlfriend. Now, in that moment, the old me, I would have been like, of course, if anybody say that to me, I'm going to just tell him that he should go and do one. I'm going to do it because my parents raised me. And actually, I didn't do that. And now I'm embarrassed. And I'm not embarrassed, but I'm disappointed in myself that in as much as I speak out on things like this, when it actually was in front of me, did I do what I said I was going to do? No. What did I do? I said, son, no, it's not like that now. Because I really needed this thing. And because I didn't agree, I couldn't get through that thing. And I have to do the whole process again. Now, would it not have just saved me in that moment to actually call him out? And maybe he'd have gotten me through and I'd have moved on. But because, unfortunately, we fear the system. We fear the people in power because they do have a lot of control over us. And and that's why I started this thing saying we glorify men in this country for no reason. Because even when all this stuff happens or, don't, rape, me too, and all that, you still have men that saying, what was she wearing? What was she this? What was she that? So, in countries like Nigeria, especially, and because we're such a traditional, cultural, religious country,
that's the problem.
We put everything back on you asking for it, and it is really, really, really hard. So I just want to say to people who have been in this situation, yes, what he's saying makes sense. Like, loud it, say something, call them out, but I know it's not easy. Like, I know that in that moment you're like, man, activism or getting my certificates. And getting your certificates always is going to trump.
I remember there was a girl in my set that actually reported. And you know what other lecturers did? They actually failed out because like it caucus now. They're like, you are low, you are the one that you think this one. See, and you know the funny thing, when they say Nemesis will catch up people, his name was one of the names released on Twitter. Like this person that I actually filmed and stuff. His name was on Twitter and I was like, oh, finally they mentioned this man. Trend, baby, you're gonna jail. But what's gonna happen? This whole thing is gonna die down.
There's something about Nigeria. It doesn't have to do with the whole sex for great thing. Everywhere, in every sector. Do you understand? Even
particularly government organizations.
You want to get a job.
Civil servants.
Even in the job, and you want to get a promotion.
Even those that are coming to you for endorsements.
Do you understand? Anything.
Rather a woman, you know.
Do you understand? In the entertainment scene, you want to get a role. Somebody wants to sleep with you before you do this, before you do that. So it is everywhere. It doesn't have to be in school setting.
So it's a tit for tat.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
it doesn't have to be in a school setting.
Exactly. The focus now is, in school, and it's really sad because, you can't say that we should not send our kids to school now.
But see, I want to say something about my school.
I went to Ife. Hold on. I went to Ife. Obafemi University. Yeah, and it is really sad. It is very rampant there, and I'm not going to stand here and pretend like we don't know what's going on. It's pretty sad, and I really wish BBC was the one anchoring that interview and investigation. So I really wish they went to OAU.
Can I ask a question based on what you just said? Because I saw it, when I was reading about all this thing, I saw a tweet or a meme or something where somebody said, why is it that Nigerians, we are constantly embarrassing our own selves? Because I didn't go to university in Nigeria, but I had a few Nigerian lecturers in my university, and not once did I ever hear anything about them. So why is it that, is the problem are men who feel entitled to these young girls, or is the problem that they're in a position where they don't feel as though they'll be held accountable? Because if you extrapolate these men and put them in universities outside of the country, they behave themselves.
That's what I'm going to say. See,
So
Nigerians generally in Nigeria are unruly.
So that's what I was
Do you understand?
to say.
We
You
don't care because the structure is faulty.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Nigerians will go out and behave
themselves.
You react appropriately because you know there's a system that will kick you.
Exactly.
Do you understand? In Nigeria, there's always a loophole and everybody's always trying to find a loophole. Do this, do that, do this. Do you understand?
I also feel that we have a problem with speaking up too. Like, if something is going wrong, it's not about being diplomatic or just shutting your mouth and saying, let me keep my mouth shut so that, I won't get affected. Speaking up is our problem. We have done, especially females. I don't mean to shade anyone, but you guys do all these 15 days of activism. You're talking about this and that. But when you are in real life scenarios about these issues you guys talk about, you don't speak up.
It's not easy
Let
to
me
be
say
honest.
because they don't support
It takes
themselves.
one person to change the narrative.
Yeah, you're right.
It takes one
All I
person
want
to
to say
change the
something.
narrative. You need to open your mouth and talk.
It's not
There was
easy.
someone
It's
that
not
spoke
easy.
about it, and that's why they have been finding
Yes,
solutions.
but
Because she has the
something.
right backing.
So
She has the
that-
backing.
so-
Obviously,
see,
they're
you
not
know,
every
some-
receiving death threats. Do you know that?
But do you know she
talk,
dropped
but
out of
it's
school
not
because
easy.
of that same situation, Kikimodi? You know that she dropped. So it
I
takes
heard Niles
someone.
University was
So you
giving
cannot
her-
change the narrative without opening your mouth.
An
You need
opening.
to make the move. That's my
Oh,
own.
he's giving her an opening
But
right
it's
now.
not that easy.
So, I mean,
Nobody said it was easy.
Oh.
But
You
is
wanna
it
say
worth it?
something?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was saying is, it's more of the structure because, me, the background I grew up from, there were women that were put in certain structured forms. So I feel like if there were girls going through this sort of situation, they had someone to speak up to, like a matron, there's a service there because I feel like we all understand this sort of situations happen. Like it's not, it's not, it's not something that you feel like it's weird, like it's normal, it's an attraction,
Bad has
teachers.
become normal for us.
Exactly. So, there was this teacher, was an Greek teacher. He was flirting with a student at the time. And he wrote a love letter to her. And I mean, she turned it in to the matron and he was sent out of the
But
school.
guys, quick one.
Yeah. But in the university, you don't have matrons.
But I mean, I'm just
But I
saying.
mean, they're
quick
not
one.
matrons
Even
and
female
stuff like that.
lecturers, I tell you for a fact, most of these
I feel-
female lecturers, if you go to them, how are you sure most of them are not even
Sleeping with boys.
Certainly. I'm a fitness trainer, so you can imagine what I've been through with some beautiful ladies and clients that, would have been wanting to taste this kid. But, integrity, dignity goes a long way. It's business before pleasure. You don't mix them both. But I feel like, obviously, the same way men are doing those things, you've got some women that, want those things. So it's a balance.
I mean, if you're a fine man, they'll come for you, So the narrative is not just about male lecturers trying to take advantage of female students. We also have female lecturers that actually want to sleep with male students. So it goes both ways, which is really sad. So everybody needs to be sensitized.
There are organizations that have been set up. There's
And most of them are even
DSVRT,
lesbians.
Domestic Sexual Violence Response Team. There are so
TJ,
many
you
organizations that have been
you
set
said
up to
something
protect
earlier
your
about
rights.
activism, right?
Yes.
And how women do this 15-day activism.
You guys do
But you know
everything.
one thing I haven't heard from any of the men or anybody on this panel? Okay, yes, women were always talking about solution. But how about you men actually come together and you say, you know what? Let's
start
train the
against
next generation of boys not to do this shit.
It's not a men issue.
But it's not
This
men
is the
issue.
men who are
men.
women.
It's
No,
women.
it's
Yes.
not.
No,
It's
it's
the society
women
we live
teach
in. I
the
don't like
men.
how you're
No,
trying
because
to.
we never train the men from young. We never train young
do,
boys.
actually.
We're always teaching women to find a solution.
Because women
Handle
hate
it
themselves
better.
so much,
React differently.
No,
Don't
to be
do
honest,
that.
I'm
Don't
going to-
dress
no,
like
no, no.
this.
These are
You never
stereotypes that.
No,
that
we
these
never
are- these
tell
are-
the
these are
boy,
the things.
don't rape. How a woman is dressing has nothing to do with your entitlement to
to
her.
be fair,
We
to be
never
very honest,
do
she has a
that.
point.
Yes.
She has a point, but this has been the same thing I've been hearing for the past 15 years.
You know, but
I mean,
Change it.
to be honest, women actually need to do better.
I have worked
Women
with
actually-
NGOs.
Does your mom have to tell you not to rape someone for you not to
My
know
mom-
that?
my mom didn't have to
Should
tell
I
me.
bust your
My mom didn't have to
head?
tell me
Should I
not
bust
to
your
rape
head?
anybody.
So I don't think there's
because I know it's bad.
Exactly.
And it has to do with the upbringing.
And
Do you
conscience,
understand?
of course.
I grew up understanding that you have to respect everybody. Man, woman. Do you understand? You don't have to take anything by force. You are trying to be with somebody, the person is not trying to be with you. It's fine.
But what
Do you
if it's the other
understand?
way around, though?
Learn how to handle rejection properly. And I'm talking to the men out there. Do you understand?
Exactly.
It's not by force. Do you
Thank
understand?
you. You just hit the nail on the head.
I understand that, like, there are times.
The ones I'll tell you, you're not even that fine anyway.
Would you agree with me that this narrative is changing? That's my own.
What the
No,
women?
I don't.
Sorry. What the women raping men?
You can't
Right?
say you can't say it's not
Let me
changing.
see,
You understand?
that's ignored.
Now we have morally upward
You have
men. Now
women raping
men
men.
are growing up to own their shit. Like men are growing up to do their things
It's not
the
as-
proper way.
No, it's not as much as
as
it
you
should be.
think.
I mean, in Nigeria, not as Africa
What I'm
actually.
trying to fight
Because
here is
look
you
at South
are portraying the
Africa.
blame to men and saying that
It's a
we're not
mess.
growing-
Look at the
no.
slapping
No,
senator
it's
and
just
got
that
an
she's
award
just
after he
been
finished
talking
slapping
about
Chief.
it.
That's just
What
even
about
goes
that?
to
It's
show.
ridiculous.
We know we are all we are the problem. You understand? It's a shared responsibility. My own is do not say that something is wrong when you guys are not doing anything to speak up about the situation.
They are
Yes,
the
we know
victim.
that men.
Yes, no, but
They are the victim,
TJ.
TJ.
So men are not the victim.
No, calm down.
So men are. We don't have men that are
Do you
victims
really,
of
do
this
you really,
situation.
do you really want to put the
We
ratio
are not
together?
putting it together. We are
Calm
just saying
down,
that
bro.
these issues are happening.
Okay,
We
TJ.
know.
Okay, I just want to give you an example of this men thing. The slapping senator now that slapped and beat a woman,
Yeah.
right? Because he didn't like how he was being spoken to or whatever the case.
Because he's almighty senator.
That man was not stripped of his title. He was
Exactly.
gone on to get accolades and awards and whatever the hell he got after
Exactly.
whatever.
I mean,
Now,
he came out to give a fake
that,
apology.
as far as I am concerned,
That's
right?
it.
That's one.
That was-
As far as
Yeah, that's.
Do you think that's enough?
Yes.
Do you really think that's enough?
It's not
Was
enough.
it
But it's a
sanctioned?
step. Please,
why
I'm not
wasn't
saying
he removed from
Why
his
wasn't he
position? Why
removed?
are you?
But maybe not removed.
Because
but
you
at
guys
least
are
should have
just adding
been,
sentiments
what's
to the whole
word?
situation. See, we
Suspended.
did something about it.
I
We all
didn't
came out relaxed. We all came out to say this thing is wrong. You understand?
And then what
went
happened?
against
Was
it,
he
you understand?
sanctioned?
He came out to apologize.
What measures-
The
what-
panel, for goodness sake.
And then what
We
measures
saw
were
what
taken?
happened.
What measures were taken to deter other
did you see
people?
the
Did you know the way he spoke to Remi Tinubu? I mean, it's not a men's issue. I'm here because I get that it's not all men. It's not like men thing. I think it's a mindset thing. I think it's a general thing. It has nothing to do with whether you're a man or you're a woman. People have sense of entitlement. People feel like the moment you put them in the place of authority, they just feel they can do anything, including security men. You see security men behaving like, they are like the presidents of the country. So I think it's a general thing, and I think it has to do with the mindset. The fact that you are here and the next person is here and they need you to get here, or at least here, you don't have to do anything stupid.
I sort of agree. I feel like the question is twofold. Because the reason it's not a men's issue is because as women, we have to take our own power back and we have to realize that nobody can do anything to you that you don't allow. So if someone is approaching you and saying, oh, they want to be compensated sexually for whatever favor they're giving you, it is within your power to say no. The consequence may be jamming, you may lose your position in school or fail the class or be ridiculed or whatever, but you're being a voice for somebody else. And so it's difficult because I don't want to blame the women for not having the balls to come out and speak, because it's not easy, and we have been indoctrinated generation after generation to be told to keep quiet. So, man, TJ, it's a men's problem. That's just it. It's a men's problem.
Did you see how disrespectful it was? That man is
He's an ass.
Let me tell you, he's like a point of contact for 90% of the men in Nigeria.
That's what I want to say.
yes,
That's what I want to say.
most Nigerian
Do
men.
not put someone's attitude on everyone.
I'm saying this is how most
That's
of the
stereotype now.
no. I'm saying this is
This is
90%.
also-
That's
these
what
are
I'm
the
giving.
stereotypes that I'm talking about.
Let her make her point.
That's why I said 90%. Oh, okay, let's make it fair. 70% of Nigerian men. That's how they think. That's how they feel. They feel like a woman cannot talk to them. I've been in situations where, because I'm a woman, I'm being treated a certain way. So you can't, in that situation, you can't say that, oh, because this has happened and blah, blah, blah. He faced the panel. What happened at the end of the day? Did we hear anything? No. We only saw a video of him disrespecting another woman, and he's still our senator. He's still representing us.
Which is
Bro,
sad.
you can do better.
See, I think
I'm
we
not
need to.
saying that these things are not happening.
I think we need to understand the power dynamic in here. I don't know about any other country, but here, when men or when people are in a position of power, they feel entitled.
People's
Right?
security-
They feel like
Men or women.
when you give them
power
security
trip.
power,
my boyfriend
when
says when they
Irrespective
deliver
of
something,
your
you won't give
sex.
me. He'll waste my
when
boyfriend.
you're
Why?
in a position of power, right? People they tend to take advantage of you. That's why you said when someone comes to ask you for something, because you're in a position to help, you don't want to take something for granted. That's one. Secondly, I feel like it's not about speaking up. It's about how every other person handles it.
Exactly.
So
How
in
they
my
react
school,
to
there
your
was one
speaking up as
situation,
well.
right? In a school, there was a situation whereby a girl told her brother about this whole issue, but it was a security guard, not even a lecturer, it was a security guard, because she was caught somewhere she wasn't supposed to be at a particular time. Not wrong, she wasn't anything wrong, it's just the timing. And then
Because
she
you're
told,
private
so the
university,
guy
probably.
goes, she should give him head or something like that. She did it.
You.
She did it. But then she now told her brother, Do you know what they did? All his friends, they were mad. All his friends, they went down to the college and they beat this guy. So the dean, everybody came outside telling them to stop, but they said no. They nearly, like, they messed him up. They didn't, this news didn't go to school. The dean, the people in authority tried to calm it down because they didn't want the news to come out of school. And they tried, these are the people in authority. They tried to calm down the news.
To dent the image.
But then the other security guys didn't even try it again. Now imagine if it's a situation whereby a student comes out to talk about a lecture and lecturer, you know what, you've reported me, I'm going to fail you. And the other lecturers are saying, I'm going to fail you. If other people believe her, maybe other friends or guys believe her, and they're going to attack the lecturer, like, come on, the school will have no other option but to send the lecturer down.
Violence cannot be the answer to everything.
I mean, we have to, like I said, sensitize everybody. Everybody needs to be in the know. I feel like a lot of people don't take it seriously because they don't actually know the gravity of what's going on. People need to be educated. People need to understand that the problem is deeply rooted. It goes deep into our fabric, into culture. I mean, as Africans, as Nigerians, it is really sad. So we need to actually do more and talk. I mean, come out, talk. And it's hard, I know, but I mean, you have to be able to let the world know what you're going through if you're going through this kind of, I mean, unfortunately.
So when there's a movement or protest, there's something called peaceful protests. When you're moving for something, it doesn't have to be violent, but there should be a movement. I completely agree with when TJ said that we have to start. It starts from somewhere. Movement starts from just taking a step before you now start to think of all the other steps that you take. But it starts from somewhere, and there has to be a movement.
Yes, I'm all for movement. Yes, because some people don't want to have sense. So you need to teach them. Violence is not the answer, but yeah, the movement will make the magic happen, because when they see that there's a force that is behind you guys, then they will know how to sit up. Yes, so let's do it.
That's not even to fight, but to come out and push the guy.
Sorry,
there's not only one person that can. There's a movement, but not only one person.
But
if every other person
I want TJ to understand.
But how many other people would support?
See,
now, for example, let's go to this.
That's not supposed to be your plan.
Exactly. Just jump in. No, he's right.
It's everybody's
Let me blow everybody's mind.
So let me say
Wait, before I blow it, let me take it out.
You keep talking about someone coming out to speak their truth, but someone came out to speak her truth. Do you know how many people have bashed her?
Did he do something?
But the pastor has stepped down now.
Did he do something?
Because
people join
that. Yeah, you need support. You women don't like yourself. You talk about yourself.
Do you know how many people came out to talk after she did?
People came out.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Did he do something? Yes, he did something. She came out to talk about it. She didn't mind whether people were supporting her or not. You understand? My standpoint is...
It took her a lot to come out. And she had a lot to do.
But she did. And that's what we want to see in Nigeria now.
See, let me tell you something.
That's what I'm saying. But you need people... You actually need the men to encourage...
Let me bust your head.
The women to... No, to be honest.
Let me bust your head. Okay, I know this is going to sound very wrong, right? Or it will sound very right. But you see, the people that actually go into, sort of these situations, out of fear, maybe they're making the wrong decisions, you understand? But in most cases, some of them actually want to do it. That's why it's become something it's become a choice. Because if it's not a choice that is pushing you as to something that you feel you cannot do, you're not going to do it. You rather lose what you think is going to benefit you.
Speaking
of, the reason I'm saying that is because, let me tell you something, because even in London, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have people that, for fish and chips, just as you said, you just brought it to my mind, they will give someone a blowjob just to get fish and chips.
Is it different?
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean like they ain't got money. So it just means
let's not miss the point.
You're selling yourself
consent
because of something.
See, let me tell you something. If you have something and somebody wants it, for example, now I want something from you, and we have an agreement that okay, it's fine that we are going to go down on that level. Do you understand? I want a sexual consideration for the services I want to offer you. It's an agreement. It's not like
should we put it on the table?
No, but hold on. I'm just saying, like, hold on. It's a different thing. Like, I'm not even trying to say
sign is duress.
Do you understand? I'm not trying to say that like I might not even be in that position of authority, but I'm just saying if there's a mutual understanding and you both.
Yeah, no, please.
Hold on. I need to make this point.
When there's a condition.
Do you understand? When
it's trade by battle.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to be misinterpreted. So I need to make this point.
That's quick business transaction.
Okay.
If there's a mutual agreement between two parties and they want to exchange with sexual consideration for whatever. That's fine. But not when somebody is in position of authority and you want to use that authority to take, do you understand? To take sexual pleasure from somebody else. It could be man, it could be woman. Do you understand?
It's still a choice.
Do you
It's
understand?
still a choice. That's why it's still
a choice.
So if somebody, I'm talking about you saying somebody wanted, so if somebody goes to where they're selling chips and say, please, okay, I'll give you a blowjob and give me chips. Do you understand? At that point, is the person that is offering.
No, it's like you ask.
Do you understand?
Do you know?
Because that's what he was saying.
If you try to take it back, I feel like that's probably even how it started.
Do you know a lot of these women go to their teachers?
How would a woman or a student feel bold enough to walk up to a lecturer to offer sex?
I honestly can't say what starts the advances, but I do know this, and I say this thing with cheating men as well. If there's nobody to cheat with, you can't cheat. If students are saying no and reporting, the culture will stop because they know the chance of them succeeding are slim to none.
Now, if a student, I don't know what gives a female or a student enough boldness to walk up to a lecturer and offer that if she doesn't know that that is what they do and nothing is going to happen and the lecturer would probably accept it. And as a lecturer, you are in a position of power. Come on, you're the one in charge. When a student walks up to you, you have all the right to tell her no.
Let me land. The more we keep having people that are talking about these problems, you understand? These guys will be on guard too.
Even when you bring it to them, they will not. Women should talk, but then it's not going to change.
Don't make it a woman or a man thing. It's going to change. That's what I'm saying.
No, you said that will never change.
You are saying the lecturers should come out to say, no, I don't want.
Yes. No, because it doesn't make any sense.
Thank you.
It doesn't make any sense.
What are you guys saying?
There's a reason why you are a lecturer. There's a reason why you've been put in a position of power. It's because you're supposed to be disciplined.
In that case, there's so many things that are right and wrong. You understand? Don't let's not play like the morally upright person.
Okay, Lolo, you want to say something? I was going to say something.
No, I just feel like we're kind of going around in circles discussing position of power. Like, we know that you're in a position of power, you're my lecturer. Like, I wouldn't be coming to you if you didn't have something to offer me. So I feel like we're debating the obvious things. Yes, you're in a position of power and you're clearly using that to your advantage. So I think take it one step up because this sex for grades thing is Nigeria's version of Me Too, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why don't we try and discuss the true problem, which is that no man is an island. So in order for any lecturer, director, producer, whoever to take advantage of somebody else, he must feel like he has a little bit of support or backing. And that's why I was trying to take this up to the Harvey Weinstein issue, because if you actually think about this, are you trying to tell me that all the other executives and directors were not aware of what was happening? And I love Oprah, but nobody can tell me that Oprah in a position of power where she didn't know things like this were happening. So instead of going for the lecturers and like the people and the people actually doing it, we need to actually go for the culture and the community in workplaces where employers just feel entitled to their employees. And it's the same way with the hours we're forced to work. Like there's a lot of entitlement to people, whether be it sexually, physically, emotionally, or whatever. And I think it has to start from a level of respect of, okay, I can provide a service for you and if I want to be compensated for it, I need to find a reasonable way to be compensated for it. It doesn't always have to be sexual, because have you guys actually watched the documentary, the BBC documentary?
Yes.
When he was calling the girl and he was like, just come and sit, and she was, just come. The level of comfort he had just showed me how much he'd done it before. And I just think we need to move the focus away from lecturers and just more to people in power, like making sure MDs of banks, MDs of companies, it's not. Bronze girls in Nigeria don't exist because it's just lecturers. They exist because it's people of power, people in position of power saying, okay, Kamo, if you do this for me, I'll Eli you one contract, so you'll do this, or you'll do that. It's not just lecturers. And I hate that the conversation is being pushed to only universities in this country because it's making everybody else get away with it.
I think power is relative, and anyone with responsibility is in power. And I feel human beings are, opportunists, gold diggers. And you have some that are just good at flipping wealth, or, just trying to find out what's beneficial for them. It's a survival mentality. So I think, we just walk towards what's in best interest for ourselves. So you can always decide what you want to do and not, go with what's pushing you or,
So I think it goes without saying, you're a lecturer. You're teaching someone. It's just like asking, why do you think your parents have power? You're old, you have more experience, so you're teaching the person. You can go outside school now and the person probably doesn't hold power over you. But in school, you're a lecturer, you have power. But that doesn't mean you should now misuse it.
And so I actually think that
the solution and what we need to do is there needs to be more support for people who do speak out. I feel like we're very quick to, on social media, put forward like a word of support and be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But I think we actually need to, as this community, build up communities and not NGOs, but actually places where people can feel safe and give them a platform to speak. Because yes, Bukola has a platform because of who her husband is and because of how much in the media she is. But if it were to happen to any other normal girl, she doesn't have the same, she's not going to get the same widespread response. So I feel like maybe what the solution needs to be is creating a safe space for people to feel like, okay, if I talk about this, everything else in my life is not going to be taken away from me, which is what tends to happen.
I support you. I feel that these NGOs, like I mentioned, DSVRT, Domestic Sexual Violence Response Team, and the likes, you understand, they should come out to show people that they're there for them. You know, that, like I said, there's, I think in December, there's 15 days of activism where they pick a particular issue and they talk about it extensively. There was one year they were talking about, sexual violence, you get, and so many discussions like that. And there are NGOs out there trying to see how this can be solved. So these NGOs should come out and they should tell people that they're there for them and make themselves very available.
And first of all, we need to tackle that sense of entitlement.
Thank you.
Do you understand? And I'm talking to men, first of all, and then women, because we also have women that sexually abuse men. Do you understand?
Yes, we do.
Do you understand? So let's start from everybody. Do you understand? First of all, you need to understand that you don't have a right over another person because you are in a place of authority.
I think education is very important. A lot of people lack, the father figure in the house because, based on how, the money's coming, there's a lot of sins of the father, so a lot of people are living through that. They're not getting the advice and support they need to get. So, that's creating broken families, which is creating broken numbers. But, at the end of the day, I think it's still down to self and trying to know yourself because after 8, you should know what's good, what's bad, and you should be able to make your choice based on those sort of feelings. So I feel like if you've had the upbringing that's strong foundation, then it should let you understand that I don't want this. If the grade is more than yourself, as you feel, your body's a temple, but you want to make these grades to get better in life or ahead, then you're just as bad as, the person that's trying to get you into doing bad. Like even Jesus was tempted, to change stone to bread and he turned that down. So I feel like everyone is always talking about negative, but, we should appreciate and talk about the positive things too and, appreciate those things. And I think that would still stem the way for having people follow that.
It starts from all of us.
Yeah.
It starts from understanding power. You need to know that just because you're in a position of power, just because someone needs you, someone needs a favor from you, doesn't mean you should take the person for granted. Once we understand that, like everybody, whether you're in a position of power or not, just because someone needs you doesn't mean you should now start taking things
and
for
nobody's
granted.
saying don't be compensated for what you're doing, but it doesn't mean sexually.
I think what BBC started, I completely
wouldn't
agree with you.
necessarily say that though.
Just because there's some things I didn't agree with you with, but for the one where you said we need to start, it takes courage. I completely agree with you.
It's not
Personally,
easy.
if I was like you said, if I was in that position, I don't think I would be able to speak up because I'll be afraid. But then it's the courage. It's the fact that you now have a responsibility because obviously you're there, you know that this lecturer, this is not the first time. This is another,
Sorry,
this is not the first time. Can I just land?
Would you be afraid to speak if you turned it down or if you allowed it to get in?
I'll be afraid to speak both ways because I know that he's probably going to fail me.
But you should be proud because I'm proud. I've turned down.
No, the question I want to ask is,
I'm proud, but doesn't mean this guy can literally fail me or he can tell other lecturers like Arike said and then they would, but then it's I may not have the courage, but I know I need to have the courage to speak up. So by the time we keep, and I think support matters. Somebody said about backing. I can't remember who said it. Support matters. Once I know that if I speak out, people will support me. If I talk to my parents, they will listen to me. Even if all other lecturers, and that's why I said that the courage. Now once I start, it happens. But that's like once you're able to speak up, or once you know that everybody else is backing you, then you will be able to speak up.
It takes one person to change the narrative. I've been someone that does things not just for myself, but for the greater good. So I'll take on activism because I don't like shit.
Okay, because I've been here before, I've been in this situation before, I'd rather be an activist. But when I was in that situation, I didn't sleep with the lecturer, but the best way that I could, I avoided him and I got what I wanted out, without obviously no carryovers, no extra year. But now with what I know, with the likes of Busola Dakolo, with the likes of this Kiki Mordi, speaking up and, trying to change the narrative instead of just staying back and complaining and living in fear. If I were to be in that situation again, because as time goes on, I will want one contract now. Somebody will come and offer me sex because that's how they behave. Goats. I would rather be an activist. I would speak up. I would encourage other people in such situations to speak up. And that's what I stand for. You already know, girl talk with Arike. Like, that's what I'm about.